Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What are companion videos? Well, you see, I'm awfully glad that you asked. Every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, we take a little bit of time to take live questions from the audience, but quite often we don't have time to get around to all the live questions that get sent in. But if you sent in those questions, I want to make sure they get answered properly in a video, so we gather up those questions and we address them here on companion videos. So let's not waste any time here today and hop right into it. And we're going to get started off getting caught up here with Ulysses Huggins, who writes, Living with Yourself reminds me of The Sixth Day with Arnie, which in my opinion, an awesome movie. One of Arnie's best next to True Lies, T2, and Raw Deal. You know, Sixth Day wasn't bad. Now, I don't share your particular optimism for it and thinking it's one of his best, but it's not a bad little film. Now, as far as Living with Yourself, I haven't seen it. Now, I believe that's Paul Rudd's new series, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen it yet myself, so I really can't give any opinion as far as the comparisons to the two, but I am looking forward to seeing it, that's for sure. All right, Thunder Knight writes, does Batman live in Bruce Wayne's basement? No, Bruce Wayne lives in Batman's attic. I know that's Lego Batman, but is it the Lego Batman movie or is it one of the Lego movies? Oh, it's the Lego Batman movie because he's saying it to Robin, who is not in the other Lego movies. So that, by the way, Lego Batman movie, terrific. I am flabbergasted. I have no idea why. Coming off of the Lego movie, which was very successful and people liked very much, going into a Batman Lego movie with a very popular character from the Lego movie, with Will Arnett doing the voice of Batman, with a very popular Batman character, and the movie is excellent. I still to this day do not know why it didn't do well financially. I really don't. It completely flies in the face of all logic that we know when it comes to movies and trends. Everybody loved the Lego movie. They loved the Batman character. They loved the way Will Arnett did the character, so they did do a standalone movie with them following the success of the Lego movie. The movie itself is fantastic, and yet the box office took a big dive. I don't get it. It's too bad because that movie was great. Anyway, Mike Jones writes, Rob is wrong. I say that all the time. No, Rob is wrong. Feige was going to leave because Ike didn't want to make Black Panther because black had nothing to do with RDJ. Oh, then you follow up, I mean black people. Oh, so you're saying Feige was going to leave because Ike didn't want to make Black Panther because black people had nothing to do with RDJ. I don't know about that, Mike. I don't know. Look, I'm not a big fan of Ike Perlmutter, and I'm super glad that they did the reorganization. They got Kevin Feige out from under Ike, but that's a really serious thing to say. And it's a really serious accusation to make for a guy that we don't know. I'm not willing to slap that label on somebody based on things I interpret, you know, or that I'm just guessing at. We don't know that. And I got to be honest with you, my friend. I think that's a little bit unfair. Now, unless you're privy to some information that, you know, okay, no, actually Ike Perlmutter said specifically in such and such an article that I don't think a movie with black people can make money. Unless that happened, I'd be very hesitant to throw that label around. I would. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little sensitive to it myself because a while back, you know, Black Panther was coming out and true story, I was crazy excited for it. I was endorsing the movie. I was super thrilled about the movie. I did some editorial videos about why this is such an important film. It's like, hey, a lot of people are wondering, why is this so important to some people? I made a video about, hey, here's why it's so important to some people. You know, I did all of that kind of stuff. Then one day, you know, one of the questions that came in was, do you think because of where Black Panther was getting released in relation to like Infinity War and stuff like that, somebody asked the question, do you kind of feel like they're just sort of, that Disney might just sort of be using Black Panther as just a promotional tool for Infinity War? So I thought that was an interesting question. I mean, it's a question we would ask about any movie that's positioned to a bigger movie coming after it. Is that what they're using for? So I thought it was an interesting question. And we made that the title topic of the day. So that was the title of the video that day. Is Disney using Black Panther to promote Infinity War? Now, in the video, I go in and I list all my reasons why I say, no, Disney is not using Black Panther to promote Infinity War. It's got this going for it and this going for it and this going. I couldn't have been clearer. I couldn't have been more clear. All right. Straight up clear, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to use names, but based on the title of the video, is Black Panther being used by Disney just to promote Infinity War? A fair question that somebody asked, to which I responded in the negative. And I had been promoting Black Panther pretty heavily, and I was really excited for it. Another online pundit who is black got on Twitter and made accusations against me that I didn't want Black Panther to succeed because I don't want black people in movies to succeed. Now, you got to understand, in today's environment, an accusation like that by another film pundit who themselves happen to be black, making an accusation like that, that can be a career killer. Now, I only bring this up to express why I'm like, whoa, Mike, let's pump the brakes a little bit on ascribing a reason why Ike Perlmutter is dumb. I mean, we may agree that he's kind of dumb, but let's pump the brakes on just throwing something out, like saying he just didn't want to make Black Panther because he didn't want to make a movie with black people. I'm sensitive about that because I had a similar situation like that happen to me. And I remember, like, I responded, I said to the person on Twitter, I said, hey, did you even watch the video? Like, did you even watch that video? And they respond like, I don't have to watch that video. And I'm like, Now, to that person's credit, they later apologized. And that takes somebody big to do that. That's not an easy thing to do. And publicly made the apology, and I accepted it, and it's great. And not everybody would do that. And I admire that. But it's just that for about 24 hours, I'm in the state of like, oh my God, my career is going to be over. I mean, because it's that serious. It's that heavy. Now, fortunately, many of you guys, my viewers, jumped to my defense. Is like, whoa. John's been like one of the biggest champions for Black Panther. What the hell are you talking about? But at any rate, so I will admit a little personal sensitivity about that just because I've had it happen to me. But hey, I'm not saying it's absolutely not true. I don't know Ike Perlmutter. But since I don't know him, I'm not willing to just jump up and say that something that dark and that awful is the reason why he didn't want to do it. I just kind of think he was dumb. But for whatever reasons, I think he was dumb. I don't think it was that. But I could be right. I could be wrong. Anyway, thanks for bringing it up, Mike. I appreciate it, man. All right. Hoser Mias writes, the human history has had more violence. The human history has had a lot of violence. Rob makes a great point. He says, the history of mankind is not a history filled with goodness and kindness. It's quite often littered with a lot of darkness and everything, and it's true. All right, next up, Celestial Dreams writes, and Celestial sends in a really big super chat. Thank you for that, Celestial, and supporting the channel on that level. Writes in, rumored Matt Reeves wants a woman of color to play Catwoman, a Zoe Kravitz type. Coincidence, same day this came out, Zoe Kravitz teased wearing a Batman shirt on her Instagram with the same Batman logo Reeves had been using on Twitter. First of all, I wouldn't listen to those types of rumors at all, unless it's coming from Hollywood Reporter or Variety or something like that. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. I really don't. Now, that being said, I've said since last year, if you remember, like last year, I was saying that the new Batman movie, Matt Reeves, could go for a black Catwoman. And as a matter of fact, there's precedence for that. If you go all the way back to the original Adam West Batman show, there was a black Batwoman. There was a black Catwoman there as well. So there is precedence for that. And if they wanted to diversify it up a little bit, they could go that route because, again, there is precedence for that in the history of Batman for them to do that. So that's a possibility. Now, I wouldn't buy anything. Remember, there was an exact same rumor about Vanessa, what's her name, Hudgens, about her maybe doing it. And then she got on Instagram and put on a Catwoman sort of outfit too. And that didn't amount to anything. Is this impossible? No, not impossible. Again, like I said, I've been saying since a year ago that they could go with a black Catwoman. That's not a big surprise. That's not a big stretch, considering, again, there is precedence for that in Batman's history. But this particular rumor, again, it may turn out to be true, or this may turn out to happen, but I wouldn't put any stock in the rumor. Not at this point. And again, as far as Zoe Kravitz wearing a Batman shirt, again, we had this exact same thing happen with Vanessa Hudgens. And that didn't turn out to be anything either, did it? So, does it mean 100% it's not true? No, not at all. It just means there's not enough there to actually think about it. If something more substantial comes out, then we'll look at it. But for now, not. And again, remember, I'm the guy who's been saying for like a year they could have a black Batwoman. So let's see what happens. All right. Thanks for sending that in, Celestial. Appreciate that. All right. Next up, the Friendly Film Fan writes, Spider-Verse versus How to Train Your Dragon. Who wins? Spider-Verse. I love How to Train Your Dragon. Now, How to Train Your Dragon also has a little bit of an advantage in the fact that it's 3 films. It's not just one. They have 3 movies. All of them are really good. But the best out of all of them is Spider-Verse. I was just so floored. And remember, I was the guy who said Spider-Verse wasn't going to be any good. Then it ended up being my 3rd favorite film of the year. The Friendly Film Fan also writes, if Paddington 3 is as good as the first 2, first of all, we don't even know if they're going to do a Paddington 3. But if they did, it was as good as the first 2, would we have a legitimate challenger for the greatest family movie trilogy of all time? It sounds sacrilegious to say, but yes. Yes. Depending how good Paddington 3 would be, it would challenge Toy Story as the greatest family-friendly trilogy of all time. And I'll go one step further. It would get in the discussion of the top 3 or 4 greatest trilogies of all time. I'm not saying it has a spot, but I'm saying it's in the discussion. Listen, people underestimate how good Paddington 1 and 2 are. Because a lot of people think, oh, that's just a kiddie movie. We're not going to go see that. And to be fair, I thought the exact same thing until I saw them. These movies aren't just great. They are spectacular. These are spectacular movies that highlight why movie making is so good. There is a magic to the 2 Paddington movies that is just hard to put into words. They are simply spectacular. And if they did a 3rd one and it was on par or better, then yes, the unthinkable would happen, and that Toy Story, the Toy Story trilogy, would have a legitimate contender against it to be considered the greatest family-friendly trilogy of all time, and it would be in the conversation for amongst the best trilogies of all time, period, not just family-friendly. That's how good I think the Paddington movies are. But that might just be me. All right, Friendly Film Fan also follows up and writes, can't wait for Pixar Soul next year. They showed a pretty big an extended preview of it at D23. It does look really interesting. Inside Out is in my top 3 animated films of all time. I love Inside Out. Behind Spider-Verse and How to Train Your Dragon. So I trust that creative team. Listen, never, ever, ever, ever doubt Pixar. It's not that they'll never stumble. Cars. It's not that they'll never stumble, but it's that they have such a high success rate of not just putting out decent movies. Their movies are almost all wonderful. Ratatouille, fantastic. WALL-E, fantastic. The Toy Stories, obviously, fantastic. Inside Out, fantastic. The Incredibles, fantastic. I mean, they just don't do mediocrity. They just don't. And they will have the odd stumble, but their success rate is so high you can't, with a straight look on your face, doubt them. You know what I mean? So I'd bet everything on Pixar. By the way, the one that looks even better than Soul is, oh damn it, what's the name of that other one? The one with Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. Pixar. Let me just bring up 2020. It should tell me which the 2 movies are. Onward. Onward looks fantastic. I think I'm even more excited for Onward than I wasn't before, because Onward looked silly to me. But now, after seeing the preview for it, I think I'm even more on board for Onward than I am even for Soul. 2020 is going to be a big year for Pixar, if these movies work out to be as good as they look like they will be. All right. Proper Jeremy writes, I am very excited for Jurassic World 3. The second movie may not have been great, but at least Colin Trevorrow never blamed audiences who disliked it. Well, I mean, look. Neither did J.A. Bayona. Not really. I mean, people throw that around too much. Like, it reminds me of some other situations, which I won't go into here. But I liked the second movie. I did. I liked the second movie. And I like the first one. I like both of the Jurassic World movies. I really do. I think they're very fun. And I thought this new short film was great. this battle at Big Rock. I thought that was great, and it got me very hyped for a third one. And now knowing the original cast is coming back, Jeremy, it's got me psyched. It's got me psyched, and I'm with you. I'm very, very stoked for it. Dan Ho writes, don't throw your PS4 away. Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out in March 2020. Yeah, I played a lot of Final Fantasy VII when I was younger. I played a lot of, as everybody did. Everybody played it. But I don't know if I'm interested in the remaster, although I did see the footage, and it looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. But I'm going to give this Until Dawn game a try, Dan. I'm going to give this Until Dawn game a try. Now, that's the one most people seem to recommend to me to give a shot for somebody like me who my brain just isn't wired for console controllers and stuff like that. I'm much more at home with a keyboard and mouse on a computer, on a PC. But you guys have talked me into giving that one a try, and I'll give it a try. Maybe that can kind of ease me in back into the games. And who knows, maybe nostalgia will catch up on me. And again, because again, the Final Fantasy VII stuff, it did visually looked really, really beautiful. I got to give it that for sure. Then he also, Proper Jeremy follows up and writes, I saw Ted with my grandma. She hated it. I'm assuming that goes back to the earlier conversation about somebody wrote in and said they went to go see, what's it, Hustlers. They went to go see Hustlers with their mom, and they had never been more uncomfortable. Seeing Ted with a grandmother, yeah, that could be a little uncomfortable. And listen, Ted, I love the movie, but the humor is clearly not for everybody. So I'm not shocked that, a grandmother didn't like it at all. I get it. Let's see. Urman Dagu writes, hey, John, Jurassic World 3 would see the return of original Jurassic Park stars, but will it see the original excitement? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks. Oh, well, I mean, there's just no, who knows? I mean, obviously they're going to try. Bringing back the original cast is a great move, but again, it's only as great as how does the movie turn out? Because if the movie turns out to be bad, it won't matter that they brought back the original cast, right? We won't care. If the movie is good, then having the original cast there will certainly be an extra bit of goodness for it, for sure. But obviously, look, trying to recapture the magic and the excitement of the original Jurassic Park, that has been what every Jurassic Park movie has tried and failed to do. All of them, not just the Jurassic World movies, but all the other Jurassic Parks as well. Can they do it? That's the billion-dollar question. The answer, of course, is yes, they can. They can do it. Will they? We don't know. That's the billion-dollar question. It's hard, though, to recapture that magic. Once you have your first experience, it's hard to recapture. Once you have that experience of watching the first Jurassic World and seeing, him stand up in the Jeep going, it's hard to recapture that. I mean, that was a moment in movie history that all of us, because of where visual effects were at the time, were just in awe and wonder. When he looked up and saw the dinosaurs, we felt that same awe and wonder that he did. You can't capture that specific moment back again because we are just so now desensitized to how great visual effects are now. That's a tall order. So can they recapture that same magic and excitement? That's a tall order. Look, I'll tell you what, man, I don't need Jurassic World 3 to be as good as the original Jurassic Park movie. I don't need it to be as exciting. I don't need it to have the same magic as the first one did. I don't need it to do that. It can come up short of those things and still be a really good movie. When I'm going to go see a crime movie, I don't ask, is it going to be as good as The Godfather? Well, no, it probably won't be, but it doesn't need to be as good as The Godfather to still be a great, wonderful movie. So my mindset going in, Erman, is make a good movie. You don't have to recapture everything of the original Jurassic Park. That's a fool's errand. It's never going to happen. But just make a good movie. And as long as you make a good movie that I'm entertained with and have a good time with and have a great experience with, then that's all I ask for. And I think they can do that. Will they? That's the billion-dollar question. That is the billion-dollar question. All right. Persephone, what a pretty name. Persephone Agricola writes, in Jurassic Park, Alan tied two female ends of the seatbelt. Oh, I see. This has been a running thing for days now on the channel about what do you mean? I can't remember who was sending it in. What do you mean he had two females? Okay, so it continues. In Jurassic Park, Alan tied two female ends of the seatbelt together, foreshadowing female dinos reproducing. I don't know that was a foreshadow, but whatever. Making it work with females only, life finds a way. I love the way he says that, by the way. The way he says that, the way Dr. Malcolm says it, life finds a way. Just in only the way that he can say that that might be exactly what they were going for, Persephone. So thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. All right. Tristan Riera writes, "Hey, John, the CW may be trying to find out which actor they can have back before finishing a script, because if they plan for two Lex Luthors but only have one actor, they might get stuck. Thoughts?" Nah, I don't buy that for a second, because first of all, you can just get another. If you want two Lexes, you can just put in another Lex. It doesn't have to be Michael Rosenbaum, right? So there's that. The other thing is, then those are phone conversations you have last year. If you're getting ready to put your script together and you want to find out who's available, you make those calls over a year ago. And then you start writing the script. And then you start doing that. I mean, the season's starting shortly, right? We're not far away from this next season of the CW Arrowverse starting up again. So, I mean, if they are doing that, Tristan, what you just described, that's even worse. That, the season's starting in a couple weeks. Let's start making some phone calls to see who's available. That's even worse. That makes them look even more disorganized and even more like they're just flying by the seat of their pants. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I'm serious. This whole Michael Rosenbaum situation is very troubling to me. Because you know me, I'm a big fan of the CW universe. And I didn't love all of them, but for the most part, I really enjoy their crossover events every year. But this sounds so concerning to me. Hey, do you want to be in this? We don't have a script for you. We don't know what the character is going to be doing, and we need an answer right now. That doesn't sound like people who have their crap together. That simply doesn't sound to me like somebody who's got their shit together. That sounds to me like somebody who's flying by the seat of their pants and right now has no idea what they're doing. And that's concerning. And while I would have loved it if Michael Rosenbaum came back, I don't blame him one bit for hearing that and saying, really? Pass. Because if they don't have their crap together, why should I trust them? You know what I mean? It's concerning. It's concerning. That's where I'm at on that right now. But we'll see how it turns out. All right. Mahir Haku writes, it's my birthday, John. Happy birthday, brother. Dairy Girls is good in Flick Show. Oh, are you saying Dairy Girls is a good Netflix show? Is that what Dairy Girls is a good Netflix show? If that's what you're saying, I've never heard of it. No surprise there. Netflix is terrible at promoting their content. I've never even heard of Dairy Girls. But anyway, that's a side note. Happy birthday to you, my friend. I hope you have a fabulous day and a fabulous week and a fabulous year, I should say, ahead of you, sir. So good luck, man. Have a good year. All right. Michael Alton writes, I wonder which movies caused World War II. That is clearly a reference to the topic this morning we were talking about some people think the Joker movie is going to cause violence and it's going to cause people to become violent and all that kind of stuff, which is ridiculous. So that's what I'm guessing that's what Michael's referring to. Jeez, I wonder which movies caused World War II, because clearly it must be movies that did it. Anyway, that's well said, Michael. Well said. All right. Vegan Rican1 writes, can a reboot of the DCEU work with Aquaman and Wonder Woman keeping the same cast? Also, Colby would have made a great Wonder Woman. Colby Smulders, she would have. Yep. She's a solid actress. She's a really good actress, and I enjoy her a lot. Look, I don't think so, because to me, that's not a reboot. A reboot means you reboot. You know? When you reboot your computer, you just say, okay, I'm going to reboot, but I'm going to leave my Chrome browser open, and I'm going to leave Photoshop open, and I'm going to keep that monitor on. Well, no, that's not how rebooting your system works. Rebooting means you shut everything down, you wipe everything clean, and you restart up again. That's a reboot. That's what it means to me. So to me, I mean, you can do that, but then that's not really rebooting, is it? Like I've always said, if you're going to reboot, I've said this for years, you get rid of everybody and start from scratch. And you start fresh. And so you're not bringing any baggage over from the previous incarnation. Otherwise, what's the point of rebooting? Right? And I've always said the two exceptions, and it's funny because these two exceptions came to pass. I said the two exceptions I would make, I've said this for years, is James Earl Jones as Mufasa, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah. And then those two things happen to come to pass. But other than that, I feel like if you're going to reboot, you reboot. Because if you just keep the same cast, you're not getting rid of the baggage. All the negative connotations, all the negative baggage that's attached to it, all that kind of stuff is just coming along with it. So to me, you either just move ahead and change directions a bit, or you reboot. Now, Walter Hamada seems to have taken the strategy of just moving ahead. Just move ahead. And that's what they're going to do. And you know what? He's having some success. I always said they should just reboot. Walter Hamada's chosen to just plow ahead, and he's having some success. So let's give him a couple more years and see how that all sorts of kind of works out. All right. Ross Pitt writes. Ross Pitt Shark Hunter writes, my proudest moment in life was calling the very last shot of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 just from the trailer. You're talking about with the Rhino, the fight with Rhino? Yeah. You know, here's the thing. And you guys have heard me say this before. I don't really think The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was as giant of a train wreck as a lot of people think. There are certain things about it that are giant train wrecks. But the movie also had some really good redeeming qualities. Unfortunately, it was still, even by my appraisal, it was still a big step down from the first Amazing Spider-Man, which everybody today pretends like to act like it wasn't a good movie. But no, the critic reviews were strong. The audience reviews were strong. It's a good movie. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 was a really good movie. Not the best Spider-Man movie, but I thought a very good movie. Andrew Garfield was a great Peter Parker in my estimation. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy was fantastic. I love their chemistry on screen together. Other than Robert Downey Jr., other than Tony and Pepper Potts, that Andrew Garfield with Emma Stone as Peter and Gwen is my favorite on-screen romantic interest. Tony and Pepper number one, but that was my second one. I really did enjoy that. I don't enjoy romantic interests in comic book movies for the most part, but there are a couple of exceptions. And that was one of them. I thought it worked really well. But yeah, that Amazing Spider-Man 2, and yep, that final shot, no doubt. Then Ross also writes, and this is our last question of the day. Ross Pitt follows up and writes, do you think the Conjuring universe is ever actually going to lead to anything? If not, I have no idea why it's a cinematic universe. Context. It's there. Look, not everything has to be, now we have to have a big Avengers team up. Follow the formula. 1 cup of A, 1 cup of B, 1 cup of C. Now mix, and there's your formula. It doesn't have to be that. I actually find that in the Conjuring universe, just the fact that knowing this is all in the same world and they have these little bits of context that run through it, I think adds to the world. I mean, there are some people who think I just hate cinematic universes. I don't. I think they can be really good. And I think The Conjuring is a good example of that. And I think they use it really well. It doesn't need to build up to a big Avengers, like big team up at the, they don't have to do that. I think that each film has benefited from being in that same universe because they just add little bits of context and extra layers to what's going on in the current story that I think makes them better movies. I really do. And I like the way they're approaching that. I don't think everything has to be a big cinematic crossover. No, you do it because it adds dimension to the world you're in. It adds more context to the world you're in. It adds more personality to the world that you're in, and this world of The Conjuring. And I think the franchises, the individual films have benefited from that. I really do. So that's what I see. I don't think they need to build up to something. I think every film is its own story, and it has extra depth to it because it's in a shared cinematic universe with these other films. So, and I think that in and of itself is the reward of it. That's just my opinion on that. Anyway, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the companion video. We are now all caught up on all the questions that got sent in here. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Listen, don't forget, the John Campea Show returns again tomorrow. It's No Pants Thursday. Make sure you join it as me, Chris, Aaron, all get together, talk about some stuff. We already got some things that we're putting together for tomorrow's show. I hope you guys will plan on joining us then. That will do it for me for now, guys. My name is John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.